Commissioner Brown, can you hear me? I'm having trouble.
Hannah
Just a
Brown.
minute. Oh,
We're going to
Commissioner
start in
Thorne.
another minute. We're trying to get one of our commissioners on the phone.
Commissioner Brown, are you online?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, why am I here? Okay. Grab this. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay. I'd like to call to order the July 28th, 2025 Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial Board meeting. To order. Order. Okay. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are in compliance, and may I do the roll call, please?
I wish you would.
Thank you. Chair Berkeley,
Here.
Commissioner Bryan, Commissioner Arnold.
Here.
Commissioner Stodal.
President Senator Bryan indicated he would be late.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Coffin.
Here.
Commissioner Hilton.
Present.
Commissioner Sinnock.
Here.
Commissioner Mowbray.
Present.
Commissioner Truesdale. Commissioner Brandenburg. Commissioner Creer. Commissioner Mills. Commissioner Prado. Commissioner Diaz.
Here.
Thank you. We do have Commissioner Brown on the phone.
Thank you so much. Item number 3, this is the time for public comment. During this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited, and we will limit it to 2 minutes. Does anybody wish to speak to the commission? Seeing no one, we will go to item number 4. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the special meeting of May 12th, 2025, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Item number 5, report by the City of Las Vegas Finance Department staff regarding the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial Budget for fiscal year 2025.
C. Brent, for the record, I'm not sure what happened, but our finance officer is not here. Did I hear a door open? No. So we've been trying to call him and email him, as well as the office, and nobody's answering, so
Does anybody have an objection to if I postpone this till later in the agenda, if he comes by?
No.
No objection? All right, I'll look forward to that item. And if somebody wouldn't mind continuing to get in touch with him, I would appreciate that. Item number 6, 25-0308-CLC1, report by Jeffrey Carlson, website contact development consultant, regarding updates on the website content development for the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial Project. Would you identify yourself for the record?
Good afternoon, I'm Jeffrey Carlson.
Welcome.
Since my last update, I've completed the grant summaries portion of the website development project. We now have a master list of 205 grants covered in 88 summaries. Much of that process was spent researching a few early grants which were missing from the original list and verifying discrepancies in some of the grant amounts. The missing information was pieced together using tax records and archival documents provided by current and former commission members. Here on the screen is just one example. There have been about 30 different grants to fund the annual El Dorado Days celebration. This page is a summary of funding that went specifically to the Elks Lodge. During the course of this research, it became clear that the city website was lacking information about the foundational Centennial Year efforts, Details of those projects from 2005 were published in an end-of-year report, which was only available in print. Dr. Seabrandt located a copy of that report, which has since been scanned and will be added to the website. That document, along with the 205 grants that I've summarized, should provide a more complete picture of the Commission's efforts over the last 20 years. And the second part of the website development project is the city's historical timeline. I've begun the work. It's still very much in progress, and a draft will be submitted in October. If there's any questions?
Do any members of the commission have any questions?
What is the website address? This is Kevin Mills for the record.
It is the City of Las Vegas website, the Centennial section of the website.
Seabrandt for the record. If you just Google Centennial Commission, it will pop you right up to our page that says Centennial Commission. And then in the right-hand side of the screen, it says awarded grants. Right now, it's just a PDF on there that we put on it earlier this year. And so we hired Jeffrey for our content creator. In the backup is everything that he's done, so hopefully everybody was able to look at the backup. And that shows the image and the text that will be displayed. Commissioner Stoddard does give us some notes, and then please give us your feedback on what you, anything that you have about this website. As soon as we have everything done, we'll put it on the website and it'll go live, and then that PDF will be replaced by all of these summaries, as long as the links to the agendas and minutes.
Does anybody else have any questions? Luis, did you want to say anything?
I just wanted to offer some wild applause for the progress. It's very exciting because I know how difficult it was to find everything and unearth it.
Thank you.
So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody, thank you
Oh, I'm
so.
sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Bob.
First of all, I would like to echo, start off for the record, echo Luis has done a really a great job. Put together a list that I forwarded midday to both Dr. Seabrandt and yourself, and passed out a copy to the commissioners regarding the grant summaries. The first question I have is, were you able to identify the backgrounds of all the grants? I know you had a lot of early challenges with documents and minutes of the Centennial. Were you able to find all the information?
Not detailed information for all of the projects. The meeting minutes before 2012 were never located. And there was never any additional paperwork found for any of the projects in the city records office. So it came down to looking for names of things in those tax records that were found, and various other lists of projects that were assembled since 2005, sometime between 2005 and 2012. So we added ultimately about 25 different projects to the original list that I started out with. Okay. There was also maybe a half a dozen of them that had some errors as far as the funding goes.
Any guess as to how many grants are that the Centennial Commission has given that are not with what you've been able to find?
I believe I have them all now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, in one form or another, there's something in here about that.
Yes.
That's great. That's really, and again, for the record to show that the missing records took place before Dr. Seabrandt, and since Dr. Seabrandt has been here and the city clerk's office, we have all the records that you need. So that's
yes.
just for the record. The notes that I sent to you really are just some consistency, a couple of facts that I have a little bit concerned about one or two, and that, of course, is the ever-popular El Dorado, which has now become known as the reason it was created was to increase tourism in 1935 with the dam being completed, and that's wrong. It was created by the Elks so they could build a lodge. And all of the money that the Elks raised from El Dorado went back to the Elks, and the Elks in turn would donate it. But this is really an Elks project, not the Chamber of Commerce or anybody else. So I think I'd like to clear that record up.
And the new public was built in 1936, the new Elks Lodge downtown.
And the lodge was built in 1936. But you weren't there.
It was a year before he was born.
So
I tried to get there.
the other thing is just that there's some, and I applaud the effort to have hyperlinks on as many of the things as you can, because this is for the general public to read, and I think we need to make it as easy for the public to read and then access with the links that you supplied. I think where there is not a link on a particular thing, that we should put a link to the nonprofit that asked for the grant, because there may be some information on that website. But you have all of those notes. Dr. Seabrand, I'm not sure what the process is to kind of checklist on, see if these are doable or they fit.
Seabrand, for the record, on your comments?
Yes.
I just looked at them very quickly,
Okay.
so, but, I mean, yeah, they look like they're very doable. But I also did want to point out on there's some confusion about missing grants. So I did find this. It's called the Year-End Report from the Centennial Commission. And when this commission was formed, as most of you know, since you were here forming it, it was for the year-long celebration. So they weren't grants. They seem to have been the commission paid these vendors. And so we've digitized this entire book, and it will be the lead on the website for the grants. And I'll just write a little paragraph summarizing it, and then we'll have this, and then all of the grant summaries that Jeffrey has done. But we do our after this commission provides their feedback, it still does need to go through communications, because they need to put it in what is called city speak, as far as like, they don't like using Oxford commas, and I love the Oxford commas.
That's great. So this covers the first year.
Sorry?
This covers the Centennial Party celebration.
Yes, and there are, I think maybe, I don't even know how many projects there were in here, but there were quite a few, and so.
But then 2006 on is what Mr. Jeffrey's got.
Yes, but it would have to depend on how much money was in the commission's bank, as far as how many grants they gave. But right, from 2006 there, is that what you're finding? From 2006 on, there would be grants, but anything before that is in this book.
Okay. Well, it's sad that we don't have the minutes of the meeting, and that they were destroyed or misplaced. That's it. Look, another question that I had is, several of them are, for example, it says for the documentary for KCEP, it says at the bottom, still in production. What is the process for the grants to be, this site to be updated with any grants that we give out in 25 and in the future, and any grants that are completed, rather than forever it's going to say X number is going to happen?
So we'll update that. So we hired Jeffrey to do everything up until 2024. So right now, the only 2025 grant we have is to the Mob Museum for their documentary film.
Right.
So we're working on putting place marks in the website, and the information, I'm not sure, well, apologies on KCP, they have completed their project, so we'll update that.
Oh.
And we will also make sure that every grant follows the same format as we move forward, but we'll put just a little paragraph on there when the grant starts, and then we will update it when the grant is completed, to say it is a completed grant.
And so the we is you and Therese.
The we is myself and Teresa, yes.
Okay, seriously, so this is this is added to your duties.
Yes.
One last question is, I noticed on several of the grants summaries, it lists the ward. Is that something we want to list on each of the grants to indicate what ward it's in?
So sorry, C. Brent for the record. I'm sorry, Gabby, I didn't say that to begin with. C. Brent for the record. So we put the ward offices on there for the agendas, and because we always want to know what projects are taking part in which wards. We can, if it's something that is not in a tangible ward, or say like the Las Vegas Day, or I'm sorry, El Dorado Parade, or things that, the movies that reach a higher audience, we just always like putting the wards in there. If you don't want the wards in there, we can take that information out, or put all wards.
Of consistency, because sometimes in what Jeffrey did, he put the wards in, but I was wondering if that's something we want to have on each one. It's fine with me, it just indicates to the general public where the money was spent, but I'd rather have some consistency. If we use it in one place, we should use it all throughout, and if we don't use it all throughout, then let's take the one out that there are two there that are in there. It was a consistency question, not a editorial question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Carlson, thank you very much for the hard work that you do.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Could the record reflect that Commissioner Bryan has joined us?
Finally. Oh, Rip Van Winkle.
Item number 7, 25-0309-CLC1, final report by staff from KME Architects regarding the Historic West Side Design Guidebook funded by the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial, and this is making me inconsistent, but this is Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Hello.
Hello.
Would you
Melvin
mind
Green.
stating your name?
Sure, Melvin Green, KME Architects.
Olivia White, Historic Preservation Consultant.
We are here this afternoon to give you an update on the Historic West Side Design Guidebook. This guidebook is a visionary framework for shaping thoughtful and respectful development in West Las Vegas, and it reflects the collaborative spirit of the community. This project was made possible through your funding, and we really appreciate that. Your investment supported our research, documentation of historic architecture, community outreach, and the final report itself. The purpose of the design guidelines is to provide guidance for development in historic West Las Vegas. It supports landowners, developers, architects in designing and building compatible new infill construction. It adheres to the principles of the form-based code and ensures that future development honors the historic precedents of the 1940s and the 1960s. I want to acknowledge the outstanding project team, KME Architects, Chattel, Inc., Some New Marketing, and Clay T. White with the Oral Historic Research Center at UNLV. Their collective expertise in design, historic preservation, grassroots outreach, and oral history has deeply enriched the guidebook itself. The boundaries based on the form-based code is Owens Avenue to the north, I-15 to the east, I-11 to the south, and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard to the west. Here you see a floor chart that showed the task timelines. That included the research and analysis. We did a lot of research on this project. We did a lot of, how can I say, UNLV's oral history library, and we also looked at newspaper clippings, and then we completed an outline of that, and we provided first draft and review to the city staff. In that instance, we made some adjustments to the plan, and then we submitted the second draft for review, and then we have a final draft that is going before the city council shortly. Community outreach. The outreach was very successful in that we engaged individuals through focus groups, events, and canvassing. By combining traditional and digital methods, the grassroots effort created a meaningful connection between the community and the project team in empowering residents to actively shape the guidebook itself. So we had several stakeholders meetings with the community.
So for a brief overview of the contents of the design guidebook, sections 1 through 3 are really our introduction to the guidebook. We talk about our process, we talk about the oral histories completed, our outreach, the purpose of the guidebook, and really the city planning documents and work that has been done on the west side that helped inform this project. We also give a step-by-step application overview for folks who have never completed a project in the city of Las Vegas. And we also go into our historic documentation. So as Mel mentioned, we did a lot of research, historic photo research, newspaper research, to really get a sense of the historic character of the area of the historic West Side. And then section 4, we talk about the form-based code, and we describe the different transect zones that exist in the historic West Side. In section 5, we give guidelines for the treatment of both new infill construction as well as the existing buildings in the neighborhood. This covers everything from windows to solar panels, signs. And then in section 6, we really talk about neighborhood identity and give recommendations for sort of keeping and making a sense of place in the historic West Side. And section 7 goes through case studies of different transect zones. So it gives sort of massing model ideas of what might happen potentially on Jackson Street in different zones of the neighborhood. Can you go next? So this is an example from section 5. Concrete masonry unit is a very common building material in the historic West Side. The period we really focused on as the 1940s to the 1960s as sort of the defining era of the historic West Side. So on the left-hand side, you're seeing both dimensions and finishes recommended for concrete masonry unit. On the right-hand side, you're seeing examples of photos of buildings that are actually in the neighborhood. Decorative concrete block is another defining characteristic of mid-century historic West Side, and one that we encourage to thread these historic elements into new construction. So we use the historic research we did, as I mentioned, on common architectural features and building materials of the neighborhood to pull out these characteristics and encourage them. This helps, make sure that new construction, although it's going to be contemporary, provides, continuity and context to the neighborhood to ensure that it continues to feel like the historic West Side. We also emphasize the use of porches and balconies in more denser projects and new infill construction, obviously for the benefits of outdoor living, but also for the concept of having eyes on the street, which is a concept brought to us by Jane Jacobs in her Death and Life of Great American Cities. This idea has been espoused by planners that having people observing and interacting with the life on the street and the neighborhoods makes for really safer cities. So these porches that we're giving ideas about are based on porches that we've seen in the neighborhood as well. And then, and then for commercial storefronts, we studied existing storefronts, including those on and around Jackson Avenue, and provided recommendations for new storefronts that are based on the historic patterning. So the number 1 on the top, these sort of angled storefronts are ones we observed. And so we are really encouraging new storefronts, look at historic patterns when it comes to windows and doors and awnings, the use of bulkheads, things like that. So new storefronts are compatible with what's existing.
We also provided a sample of case studies for Jackson Avenue for developers who are in the process of developing that area. We wanted to make sure that we gave them ideas like live-work places, as well as retail on the first floor and residential on the second floor. And then we did just a cutout of what this would look like for its height, volume, as well as close proximity to the street. Here, we looked at a typical transect zone, which is a T4, and a case study on that. We looked at how we can integrate 2-story lots with 2- and 3-story multiplex 8-unit apartments. We also looked at conforming to the form-based code, which includes the height requirements, lot size, and setbacks. So when a developer comes into West Las Vegas, they have precedents to work at with their design. So that is a nutshell, a quick summary of the design guideline book. We entertain any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much. Does any member of the commission care to comment? Yes, Bob Stoddall.
First of all, this is a truly exciting project, and I'd look forward to reading the final report document. Covers a lot of history of the community. Did you find in your research, and I'm not sure what title we should make it, I know it has an architectural title, but do you find many businesses that opened on the corner rather than on looking at the street, that they opened up? Did you find many businesses there?
We didn't find many existing businesses that do that, but the Town Tavern historically was one that did open on the corner and did have a breeze block sort of at the corner entryway as well. So there's not very many existing examples, but we did find a few historically, yeah.
The reason I mention that is that having bumped into what First and Fremont, each of the corners at the very beginning of Las Vegas over the first couple of decades, the bank opened on the corner, the pharmacy opened on the corner, the clothing store opened on the corner. It was just an interesting to see if that had carried over at all into historic West Las Vegas. Great. Thank you. Really, this is an exciting project, and I think what you've got here is not just for West Las Vegas, but is a model for other design books and the rest of the community as well. And you answered all my questions in your presentation, so thank you.
Thank you. Bob?
Thank you, Mayor. Question I have is actually on the last slide you presented, showing the design of buildings overall. And I look at the roofs and I wonder, when did we get to the flat roof on the west side? Because I recall traditional looking properties over there.
That is correct. What we're looking at more of the commercial area, which is Jackson Avenue. But if you look at the body of the book report itself, you'll see the actual difference in gable roofs versus flat roofs.
What is, because the next to, we stopped allowing the state to build, we stopped allowing flat roofs because of the leakage problems and all of the things that happen with water on top of a roof. And when it always comes in buckets, how do you control the roof treatment?
Yeah, actually, there's new technology in terms of single-ply TPO roofs.
Say that slower, please.
Single-ply TPO roofs and adequate drainage and slopes. So we use a single-ply 90 mil, 80 mil, 60 mil fabric that overlays the roof.
Well, but how long does that last, really?
It lasts for about 40 to 50 years.
What is the slope amount?
Yeah, it's can't be less than a quarter inch.
Is that all?
Yes.
Quarter inch per how much?
Less per foot.
For 4 feet?
For 1 foot, yes.
Oh, I see, quarter inch, 1 foot, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
that's
But then
better.
there's also crickets, and then we have like documentation, warranties from various companies that we supply the roofing system with. The new library has a TPO roof as well.
Well, I wouldn't count on companies honoring contracts on something like that, which they'll
be
die before they
optimistic
have to
on that.
replace it. Okay.
Any other questions from
you.
any commissioners? Yes, Senator Bryan.
I may have missed it, but can you give me the explanation for those concrete blocks, what those symbols, I've seen a lot of symbols in my life, but I don't recognize those, but I would like to be educated in terms of what those meant.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It probably would have been helpful to see them all put together in a picture. So decorative concrete breeze block. They're put together as a wall. They're often called a brise-soleil. So you'll often see them at entryways. So they let light and they let air sort of in walkways, sort of leading up to houses, things like that, along fences. So a single sort of set of these blocks, so a bunch of Maltese, for example, will build sort of a half wall sort of situation. So they all have different names, and we used pattern books. Palm Springs publishes a pattern book of these concrete breeze
I
blocks.
have no problem with the construction phase. What do they mean?
Oh, what do they
Vista
mean?
View, Tucson.
I
Maybe I
don't
missed
know
that.
how they were named. Do you know about their?
Not
the
how they
nomenclature?
were made, but what does the design mean?
So these
What's the
are
symbolism of it?
typical names for the block. So for instance, the Tucson one, that was probably generated in the Tucson area. So there's a pattern book with the labels of the blocks themselves. And this is pretty much used in more of the mid-century modern projects.
So does it mean it?
Yeah, I don't know the origins of all the names, but they're,
May not mean much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Stoddall, do you have a follow-up question?
Just two quick questions.
Sure.
One is, as part of your final report, you were able to bring this project in within the prescribed budget. Great, thank you.
That is
And then
correct.
secondly, while this may be for somebody that is going to build a home or build a business, it seems to me that just going through the agenda, I got excited in looking at the various topics in the table of contents. How will this be available to the general public to view? There's one great history in there.
So for the record, Michael Howe, Department of Community Development. There'll be a couple avenues. So on the Historic Preservation website where we have all the guidelines, because it'll be a separate document. And this is kind of the challenge. This is a novel approach to addressing something we've discovered where you have historic areas that don't qualify as historic districts. But we want to get good information to the people that are asking. So we'll have the portion of the city website for design guidelines, but then incorporated within the form-based code, because Historic West Side has a specific zoning document. It'll reference that design guidebook directly. So they'll be able to, if you're in the West Side, you'll be able to access that guidebook to get the information on what it should look like. That's kind of like the key question, not what it has to look like, not what the city, really is compelling you to do, but really what's the most appropriate for this area.
Will, when Dr. Seabrand puts this on
Excuse me,
the website,
your mic.
will there be a link?
Would you turn on your mic?
When Dr. Seabrand puts this on the Centennial Grant Summary website, will there be a hyperlink there to this document?
Yes.
Great, thank you. This is a great document. It is a document.
Yes.
More than a guideline or guidebook. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? In that case, I thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 8, 25-0310-CLC1. Final report by staff from Nevada Preservation Foundation regarding the 2025 Home and History event funded by the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial, and this affects all wards. Hello.
Hello, my name is, for the record, is Paige Bigamam. I'm the Executive Director of Nevada Preservation Foundation.
I'm Amy Raymer. I'm the board president for Nevada Preservation Foundation.
So again, we want to just sincerely thank the Commission for your continued support. This year was our first year of receiving the 3-year grant, but we have had other support from you guys, and it wouldn't be possible without you guys. So today I'll just do a brief recap of what Home and History is, which took place May 1st through the 4th of 2025. But before discussing the growth of participation and outreach for our festival, we provided a short recap video.
So Home and History Las Vegas is our big event that we have. It's a weekend full of tours and seminars and really amazing things that show the history of Las Vegas and talk about how we need to preserve it.
So this is actually our 10th year of Home in History. We have walking tours where we go walk around historic neighborhoods. We have driving tours where we drive historic neighborhoods. This year we also partnered with the Henderson Historical Society for the first time. We're opening up the BMI plant. And then we also have events. We have a Keystone Address by Alan Hess. We have a luau party. And then Sunday is our big marquee event where we do our home tour. So we open up, we got 9 homeowners to open up their homes. And you can come in, you can see the vintage homes, you can talk to the homeowner and, you know, just really hear their story and get to see some of these great homes that don't really exist anymore.
We have people at International, we have people who've traveled from other states, a lot of folks from California coming out. We're getting some interest from folks who are, you know, interested in Vegas architecture, because a lot of times people don't think about what's going on outside of the Strip. So a lot of these vintage homes really kind of encapsulate what people think of Vegas when they come here.
Vegas has a history of, oh, we just blow things up. Well, that's actually not true. We have all these neighborhoods that have been there. Over the last 10 years, we've gotten to go into 75 different homes, and you get to see the passion of the homeowners, their commitment to mid-century modern, their commitment to restoration. So especially here, we're used to lots of master plan communities and tract homes, and this is a whole different part of town.
Nevada Preservation Foundation has done a remarkable job over the last 10 years, specifically with these tours, understanding how historic preservation of old buildings is part of the future, not the past. Adaptive reuse of old buildings to new uses saves energy, maintains the character and the identity of the city. Each of them has a significance and importance to why Las Vegas is Las Vegas.
To be recognized to be part of the history of Las Vegas, really, really honored. I do interior design specializing in retro environments. It gets into production, but also home ambiance. So just bringing back home ambiance one house at a time. So yeah, I do this for other people, but it started with my own house where you are right now.
Having the opportunity to open up my home that my husband and I totally transformed from the original 1951 house that was added in the 60s, and we were able to take the original structure and lovingly redo it and bring it up to the 21st century along with the neighborhood. But the true beauty of living in a neighborhood like McNeil Estates are the neighbors. Everybody talks to everybody, everybody knows everybody. People don't drive into their garage and close the door and you never meet your neighbor. It's the absolute opposite.
Huge thank you to the Centennial Commission. Without the Centennial Commission's support, we could not have had such a successful few years here with Home in History. And so we are so grateful for that partnership. We're so grateful for the trust that they put into us for that.
Love it.
And for the record, I'd like to thank a local videography and photography team, 11 Media. They're the ones who made this video.
Yeah, a little closer into the mic.
So
Thank you.
sorry. For the record, I'd like to thank 11 Media. They're the photography and videography team that we worked with, and they're local, who did that video. But as you can see, we had a lot of fun and engaging events. We had over 30 events over that 4-day weekend of educational programming, walking tours, bus tours. We had new events of historic neighborhoods of John S. Park, Marycrest, Huntridge. We had a Preservation 101 for educational events. As you could see, Alan Hess was our keynote speaker, which we had an event at the Fremont Hotel and Casino. We received positive reviews with 98% of our respondents said they would recommend and reattend Home in History next year. And we continue to have attendees from across 12 states, including Indiana, Michigan, Arizona, Texas, North Carolina. And we had about 80% of returning guests from this year. And we were able to work also with a local PR firm and to increase our media coverage, which we had a lot of media clips from local outlets, KLAS, KVVU, as well as the Las Vegas Review-Journal. We were able to get in the Atomic Ranch again. And in addition to the media coverage, we supported preservation funding, as you could see in the video. We promoted the license plates, which we distribute over 700 flyers. We also worked with other organizations, such as the Neon Museum, to promote other local museums and nonprofits. And our social media presence grew substantially. We had over 800,000 people on Facebook alone watching and supporting our festival. So the media coverage and outfits, our efforts and overall success of Home History would not be possible without local partnerships. We worked with 18B, Preserve Nevada, Henderson Historical Society, as well as much more in the city of Las Vegas, and of course, with your guys' support. And the NPF team is excited for next year as we continue to focus and expand on home and history for outreach and community engagement. So please save the date for April 16th through the 19th of 2026. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Louise?
This is Louise Helton for the record. This is the first year that you all got a 2-year grant, did I remember that correctly?
A 3-year grant.
3 years, okay. And what is the amount per year that it works out to?
It's a step-down grant. So this first year, we received $171,500.
Okay.
And the next year would be, it's a step-down, so I believe it's around $130,000. And then it's an additional step-down from that to about So because what we're focusing on with this outreach and festival is to find other support and funding through sponsorships, which we were able to really receive that or see that outcome from this year as well, which we were able to, since it's a rollover grant, we were able to roll over some of the funds for this year into next year to really focus on just growing for the local community.
Yeah, because I can see that you had great attendance. It does work out to be like $107 a person, though. That's pretty pricey for an event that's, just.
Well, we do focus, for this specific festival, our ticket pricing, we do have a range of ticket pricing. It's not, we have some events that are $150, some
I
events
recognize that. I'm just talking about our grant money.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Divided by the 1,600 people averages out to a little over $107 per person. Yeah. So one of the things that I look for, just for you to know when I vote on these grants, is I look to get that number much more affordable. And so the step down will obviously help do that, but as that steps down, I'm hoping to see the attendance step up. And it sounds like everybody had a great time, so I'm hoping that will follow. Do you have any plans for things that you can do to leverage so you can get more people next year?
This is Amy Raymer for the record. Couple of things. We did roll over funds this year, so we did not use all of the allotted money that we were given for this year. So I think it'll average out a little bit differently, in terms of that price point. Additionally, we're really pushing right now with what we're able to do with Home and History has been able to allow us to offer monthly programming. And that monthly programming is giving us even more reach for Home and History. So we have that. We're working consistently with our PR firm, thank you, with our PR firm for the reach on that. But we've gotten a really solid partnership with Atomic Ranch, and Atomic Ranch is truly kind of the premier mid-century modern, so we've been featured there this year twice in this last year. So that's going to continue to expand our reach. And I would also say, just current climate as well too, we did see a drop in international attendance this year. We had a lot of folks from Canada last year, and this year we did not see that. So I don't know that that's something we can control for, but we are, like I said, we've got our eyes on the prize in terms of expanding and making sure that we're growing out, so we're stronger in that area.
And speaking of attendance, would you do me a favor and let my mayor's office know early so we can get some of these events scheduled? Because I would love to come. It looked really fabulous, really great.
A couple of quick questions, and you mentioned one of them, a word that I'm looking for. Maybe it's really a question for Diane. What are this idea of 1 year, 2 year, 3 years is relatively new in the last 4 or 5 years of the commission, and I think it's worked out well. The question is, each of those years within the contract has a dollar figure. Are they allowed to roll over the money? In other words, okay, we're going to save the money and spend it in the third year, or do they have to spend each year? I don't know what the contract says.
So it's just the final amount? Oh, sorry, Seabrant for the record. Sorry, Gabby, I don't know why I keep doing that. And so it's just the final amount of their grant. I don't remember what this one is off the top of my head. But because they did come in under budget on the first year,
Right.
that we've allowed them to roll over those funds, because regardless, at the end of the day, this commission has awarded them, what was it, $200,000? And so they are allowed to spend that.
Okay, I guess I'm just being Mr. Nitpicker, but so what we're saying is the contract says $100,000 the first year, $150 the second year, $175 the third year. If they only spend $75 the first year, they can move that money legally into the second year.
Seamer, for the record, it's not really moving it. It's,
That's a good question.
we've agreed to.
Yes or no?
Well, it is a yes question, but we don't move it as,
So we're looking at when we vote on a grant, we're not voting on each year, we're voting on the total amount.
you're voting on the total amount, correct?
Okay. So if maybe if the contract, we make sure that the contract actually reflects that as opposed to three separate years, which I think it does. That's great. I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure that we're doing that. I also think, in addition to the ticket prices, I think one of the things that this event that we've had over the last few years, it's helping stabilize neighborhoods, and it's helping next door neighbors. Maybe their house is not on the tour, but they're keeping their, and so I think there's a lot of tangent dollar benefits out of this, although I do agree with Commissioner Helton. That's one of the things that I look at as well. $300 a ticket? I know yours was $107. But we do the math to see how the plays out. So again, congratulations on a great year, and maybe we can get Canada back.
I was at a mayor's event in New York last week, and for the mayors from Canada, I wholeheartedly apologize to them and welcome them back to Las Vegas. Please come back. Anyway, but thank you so much. And the videographer, that was great. That was great to watch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What did the girls charge? Oh, I think that was gratis, I would hope. Thank you. Item number 9, 25-0311-CLC1, final report by staff from Friends of the Nevada State Museum regarding the curation of a museum exhibit titled The Old Spanish Trail, Connecting a Network of Paths at the Nevada State Museum, funded by the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial. This is in Ward 1, Mr. Knutson. Hello.
Hello. For the record, my name is Hollis Gillespie. I'm the director of the Nevada State Museum, Las Vegas, and I'm here to introduce Joseph Diaz, who is our curator of history and material culture, and there is Janelle Wilson, who is our exhibit designer, in case there's some related questions.
Thank you. So, this last year, the Nevada State Museum, from Friday, November 15th, 2024, to July 7th, just recently of this year, hosted the Old Spanish Trail, Connecting a Network of Paths. It was a 3,000 square foot exhibit that was bilingual. And during that time, we hit about 115,000 visitors and school groups. It was a real hit for us. And we also enjoyed a robust series of programs that went along with the exhibit. So I'm just giving you a little snapshot of what the exhibit looked like. Our designer, again, Janelle and Wes, they did a fantastic job piecing this exhibit together, and I'm really proud of their work. So the funding from the grant also allowed us to build platforms that we're going to be able to use in the future for future exhibits. Something that we always try and do. We always try and reuse things and reuse them again and again and again. And in addition to that, we also purchased from the grant educational materials that we'll be able to take out of the exhibit and take into our into our education room for future programs. So again, just a snapshot of what the interior of the exhibit looked like. A beautiful, beautiful job. So in addition to the exhibit, we hosted probably, I think it was the largest exhibit opening that we had at the museum ever. So I can't remember the...
Unless Mr. Stoldal can tell me another number, but we believe it's the largest ever.
Yeah, 325 guests, which is a big deal for us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was a big deal for
And
us.
some were new faces, which is even better.
So again, this is just our events room with the crowd that attended the opening. And this is our closing slide. What came out of this, which I'm very pleased with, is that we're looking at traveling the exhibit. All museums, that's one of their goals, is that they create their own exhibit and they want to travel it. So we're talking to the Gene Autry in LA, and we're also looking at the New Mexico History Museum. So the beginning of the trail and the end of the trail. And in addition to that, we're also hosting next year, we're collaborating with the Old Spanish Trail Society to do their annual event, their annual conference at the museum. So,
How cool.
yeah, so I'm very proud of that.
Great. Does
Small
anybody-
team, good work.
Thank you so much. Does anybody on the commission have any questions?
Just my
Yes,
standard-
Bob.
I'm sorry. Just
Oh,
my
thank
standard-
you,
The
Mayor.
other Bob.
Oh, the other Bob.
The other
Sorry.
little one. The one with the white hair. Thank you. Look, it's always been a curiosity thing here in Las Vegas, and people cannot tell where it was, where the trail was. Or I think possibly one monument remains from its initial construction placement, but it's in the southwest. Do we have a map that you could show us of
I do
where
not
the
have
trail
one.
went through what is now the city? But of course, I assume the Big Springs were part of it.
Right, of course, and you have to remember that it did meander. So wherever there was water, and of course grassland, they didn't have one set trail. So throughout the city, there may have been maybe 3 different routes. One of them, the one I was focusing on, because it's at the Springs Preserve, was the one that went through our backyard at the museum.
Oh, yes, down toward the east.
Yes.
Bob, are you asking for the original Spanish Trail?
Oh, yeah, and variations from it,
The
because
original Spanish Trail did not go through the Springs.
they did not go
The first
to
one in
the...
18, it did not. It kept to the east part of the valley.
So
But-
there was a lot of meadows and a lot of water down to the east.
Yes.
You're talking about
where the
the-
fort is and in that area, but they stayed more towards the eastern end and moved that way too. But
You're talking about the Armijo.
yes, that
Correct.
first one, the famous one that, but there were a number of Spanish trails, so to speak, as you pointed out, and they became Mormon trails as well, but they were all based primarily on the native population because they went from water to water.
Well, I'm sorry, Mayor, for the sidebar here that
No,
we're doing without your
perfectly
recognition.
interesting.
But I do think that the public would be appreciative of mapping it, or the likelihood of where it went, spring to spring. I know there were springs out in what we know Paradise Valley, and maybe they headed down there, but that was off the beaten track. They were heading toward the pass.
Have you ever been to the Old Spanish Trail Park?
Have I?
Have you ever been to the Old Spanish Trail Park?
No.
They have a wonderful park just in the, what is it, the west side of town? Where is it? Did someone, on the west side of town, and it's dedicated to the Old Spanish Trail, and they have panels throughout the park and wonderful maps. So it's worth the visit.
Okay, one last question, Mayor. Well, who sponsored that? Who authenticated it, curated it?
Ooh, that I don't know. I'm guessing it was the city. Maybe Diane, do you know?
Seaver, for the record, no, I don't. The park you're talking about, I'm not sure if that's a city park or a county park, but I know exactly, it's the Old Spanish Trail Park.
City
Bureau of Land Management.
Okay.
It's up on Cimarron.
Cimarron, okay.
Oh,
No, but they did a fantastic job.
So that was pretty dry up there for springs. It didn't start to surface much until they were lower in the valley.
Right, of
Yeah.
course.
But thank you very much, Mayor.
Louise, do you want to finish out this part of our discussion?
I just think that I have heard that the developer, Focus Properties of Mountain's Edge Development, they've made a very big deal about how they are part of the Santa Fe Trail, somewhere in their development, so,
Well, it's something we should be very proud of.
yeah.
I mean,
Very
it's
cool.
where Las Vegas got its start, so.
Very, very cool. Any further questions from the commissioners? In that case, we thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I was going to, pardon
yeah,
me.
wait.
This is Louise Helton for the record.
I'm so sorry.
One more time, not at all. I just wanted to make sure, so these are all artifacts that you already had in your wonderful, no?
No,
These are
so
things
no.
you purchased, or a combination, or what?
So through my research, I borrowed from about 7 different institutions in the Southwest, from New Mexico to Arizona to Utah
Okay.
and Colorado. And, well, no, not from California, sorry. And some of them were in our collection. Our friends group, we have a very supportive friends group, and they actually bought a Rio Grande blanket for us. It was one of the trade items that went back and forth from New Mexico to California. So a nice addition
That
to our
sounds
museum
great.
collection.
Because I was just wondering if it's going to be traveling, how hard is it to keep that collection of artifacts together in order to do that? Is that
And that's a great question. And it's difficult because some of the items that are in the original exhibit have to be wrested. So they have to go back to their lending institution, and you have to find a substitute. Because you can only exhibit it for maybe like 6 months, a year, and then you have to replace it with something else.
fascinating?
So,
Well, thank you.
yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you so much. And do we have our City of Las Vegas Finance Department staff here? Diane?
Seaver, for the record, yes, we do.
Okay, then in that case, before we move to item 10, can we go back to item number 5?
Sorry.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and
Thank you.
Commissioners. Paul Bresnahan, who normally gives the presentation today, called in ill this morning, and I think there was a communications failure that happened. So I am going to do my best to talk through the packet that he sent to all of you, but I do not know that I will have all the answers for you. So.
Oh, then, in that case, would you like to obey this to next month's meeting so we can get a comprehensive report? Or would you prefer having a report now, and if we have any questions?
It's 3 months.
3 months, we're off for the summer.
And then we would get an updated report. I would prefer to at least walk us through what we have today, and then we'll get a
If there's
filled
any
out for the
extra
record.
questions, okay. In that case, go for it.
Okay. So he did send out license plate data to all of you that he's gotten from the Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had sent it, and then there was a question about should he have sent that. He recalled it, and then he sent it back out to everyone. And so basically, I looked through the data that he had sent out to you, and the license plates seem to be running consistent. So the revenue from last year was $1,724,783. When I look at the year before, it was $1,755,000, and the year before it was $1,781,000. It's going down slightly every year, but it's remaining pretty consistent at just over $1.7 million. So it's saying that we're not having a big fall off from the other license plates that are being introduced, such as VGK and the Raiders. They do, of course, have their amount of plates that are issued and their growth, but we're still maintaining. So it seems that these are people switching that maybe were with normal Nevada license plates and going and getting their VJK or their Raiders plates.
A quick question. I'm sorry, I forgot your first name.
Quinn.
Quinn, the goal we're trying to achieve here is to be able to forecast for the next 36 to the next 5 years. And the three pieces of information we were essentially looking for, we as the Centennial Commission, were of course the total number of plates sold each year.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the total number of plates that were of the Centennial that were renewed. And then the third piece of essential information are the first-time buyers. So we could see if where we're losing or where we're growing. So those were the three. And then we're going to take that information for the last 3 to 5 years and see if we could extend it out. And we're then comparing ourselves to the Raiders, which is still going up, but slightly, and the Golden Knights, which is still going up, but slightly. We're falling, but slightly. They're going up slightly. Things have seemed to be leveled off. But as we look to give out grants for the next, we're starting to give out 2 and 3 year cycle grants.
Yeah.
We want to be able to see, at least have a mathematical estimate of how much money we're going to get in the next 36 to 50 months. So those were the three pieces of information. Didn't find that here. I found some extraneous, in other words, the number of people that lost their license plates that asked for replacements. But the three key pieces as we can go forward maybe in the next report are total number of plates, the total number of renewals, and the first-time buyers. That will give us some sense of what we can extrapolate out for the next 3 to 5 years.
Quinn, do you happen to have that information? If not, we'll obey this till the next meeting.
Yeah, he had sent out information that shows the amount of plates for Centennial. And then he had also provided a pie chart which showed that pretty much everything is a renewal. The growth factor from new plates is not significant. I can't really talk to it much, and you may want to obey the...
We can do it next time.
Yeah. Quinn, thank you very much for coming in. We'll wait until our next meeting to get a full report. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Mayor Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney for the record. There's no need to hold this item in abeyance. It's a regular item on the agenda, so we'll just have the same item on in 2 months. As Quinn pointed out, along with Dr. Seabrand, I believe the documents were emailed out by Paul Bresnahan to everyone. You can feel free to send individual questions to Dr. Seabrand, and she and I, and along with staff, will attempt to get some answers in between the meeting to individual members. Obviously, we're not going to conduct the meeting via email, but if you have individuals, especially Mr. Stoddall, let's work on it in between the meeting. But you do have the documents, and I know you want some more documents, and that's what we can check in on, or maybe give us those questions. And then Gabby's going to make sure that the emailed out documents are added to our meeting minutes and to the clerk's office posting for the meeting. So everything's going to be properly handled. But yeah, if there's some additional feedback, we can take it in between meetings to be in a better place come September.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood what you just said. That if we have, the Centennial Commission has additional questions, that we should direct them to you and Dr. Seabrand.
Almost right. Not we, individual members. If you, Commissioner Stoddall, have a question about the finances and you want to help us kind of get what you want, get it to us so we can help figure it out with finance. Pardon me?
But not to Paul.
You can CC Paul as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yes, go ahead. Go right ahead. We'll go ahead.
The question I have is, as I go through the email, which was then recalled, Paul indicated the reason that he recalled it. It wasn't a technical, it was having to do with, he was told by city clerk that there was a violation of open meeting laws. I don't know, he never did answer.
I'm not sure that Quinn would have that information,
No, but
Bob.
Diane got it. And I was curious why.
Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney for the record. There's a newer rule, and Councilman Coffin, you're familiar with the open meeting law from your time here. There's a newer rule that requires the city clerk's office to post on the internet documents that are shared with the majority of a board or commission. So when the email went out, there was concern that it wasn't going to end up, those documents were not going to end up on the internet. But obviously, as I just described, we're going to make sure that Paul's documents end up on the PrimeGov website, which has all of the agendas, so everything will be taken care of.
Okay, I just didn't know that was the reason until I got the response from Paul. And I was not aware of a change in the OML until that.
Gotcha.
So that's a new city rule or a state statute?
State statute, NRS 241.
Last legislative session?
No. Last is in 25 or 23? What do you mean by last?
25.
Yeah, it wasn't this year. It might have been 2 years ago.
Louise?
This is Louise Helton for the record. I was confused by that item being recalled, so I assumed it wasn't accurate, and I didn't even download it. Since it was recalled, I didn't.
How about this? How about we resend it out to everybody? If you can't wait 2 months till the next meeting, please either speak to Paul or our city attorney or Diane for any questions that you might have. Are we good? All right, then. Thank you so much, Quinn.
I've got a quick question,
wait.
and I probably missed the point to our attorney. Is this statute that you're talking about, this was amended in what year again? Sorry to, if you don't have it right away, you can give it to me.
Quinn, could you come back for just 1 second, please? Because we didn't go over the financial report. We just did the license plates. And I did have a quick question on the second part where it says, under expenses, management and administrative services, there's a figure there. Can you see 175?
Yes.
If you would double check that, have Paul check that. I believe the figure is 176. Not a big deal, but just to make sure it's consistent.
Yeah, I do know that that's the cross charge for all the city support, but.
Oh, great, okay.
Yeah.
And then I have is maybe Paul can answer this next time around. According to the agreement we have with the city, the Centennial Commission has a signed legal agreement. Legal services are included in the 176,000. They're not separate. If we could just double check that when we come back.
I do believe that is our outside audit firm. They prepare the Form 990 tax return for the Centennial. I believe that's what that charge is.
So that's the 990 report?
Yes.
And we pay $18,000 for that?
That's what our outside firm, Crow, charges for that, and they put their signature on it.
That's a lot of money for a 990. And I notice we're doing it with a San Francisco firm, not even a Las Vegas firm, but we won't get into that.
Well,
any reason for that? That kind of perks my interest, yeah. Why are we going out of state when there are dozens of accounting firms here in town that could? Any reason?
So the firm also does the city's financial audit, and Centennial is considered part of the city. It's a component unit, so they all hook together. And so the city's audit firm was Crow LLP, and they also do the Centennial. This way they know that the numbers that are coming into the city's financials are accurate. So if you look at the city's financial statements, you will see a column in the front that says Centennial is a component unit, and so they have the whole package. As far as a local firm being able to do the city's audit, it's very intense. And so to say that there's a local firm, we do have a new firm that will be coming on board that actually does have a very large presence here in Nevada, and they will be doing our audit going forward. We've not negotiated the price for the Centennial return yet, but they will be doing it in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mayor, if I might, Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney, to Senator Bryan, I believe I was correct. It was 2023.
2023?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And the NRS number again was? 241. 241. Thank you so much.
Quinn, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Item number 10, 25-0287-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $57,431.61 by Friends of the Nevada State Museum for the costs associated with the curation of a museum exhibit titled The New Deal in the New West on the Road in Nevada with Arthur Rothstein, located at 309 South Valley View Boulevard, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney, Ward 1, Mr. Knutson.
For the record, Hollis Gillespie.
For the record, Joseph Diaz. Thank you. So from September 26, 2025, just in about a month and a half, running through March 27th, 2026, the Nevada State Museum at the Springs Preserve will be hosting, like you said, the New Deal in the New West on the road in Nevada with Arthur Rothstein. 1940 was a time of historic change for Nevada. Old West mining boomtowns were fading into history, and a rising New West culture was emerging. President Franklin D. Roosevelt had invested heavily in Nevada during the Great Depression. His New Deal programs employed thousands of Nevada residents to build roads, parks, utilities, and public buildings. These new public works helped support a growing economy centered on recreation, tourism, and stewardship of the state's vast natural resources. Under the Works Progress Administration, FDR's New Deal Federal Writers Project had hired unemployed writers, editors, historians to craft a series of state guidebooks. The Nevada Historical Society coordinated the production of Nevada, A Guide to the Silver State, published in 1940. The state guidebooks supported FDR's proclamation that 1940 would be Travel America Year. Government photographer Arthur Rothstein provided almost 1/3 of the images in the heavily illustrated Nevada guidebook. In the spring of 1940, Rothstein photographed Nevada on assignment for the Federal Farm Security Administration. This exhibit combines Rothstein's remarkable 1940 Nevada photographs with objects from the museum's extensive historical collection to offer a window into his pivotal year in Nevada's history. So this exhibit, The New Deal in the New West, I'm going to give you just a snapshot of some of the pieces that will be in the show, and over half of the images will focus on old Las Vegas. A wonderful image of the Apache Casino. A few interior shots. They are big cards. Some great old photos, some wonderful old slot machines. Playing bingo, one of my favorites. And of course, there's a series of images that are outside of the Las Vegas area, and we do certainly need to pull those in as well. And there's probably, I would say, just about a quarter of those images will be a part of the exhibit. So some of the objectives of the exhibit is to educate both locals and visitors the historical significance of the New Deal Act and its contribution to the development of Las Vegas. To bring attention that 1940 was a turning point for the state from mining and old economy to tourism, recreation, and gaming that increased the population, and to also create a bilingual exhibit to broaden our audience, to shed light on New Deal goals of promoting westward economic expansion, tourism, and national cohesion in a time of social and political polarization. And most, I think, importantly right now, pay tribute to a Jewish artist whose parents and grandparents found refuge and freedom in America after escaping anti-Semitic pogroms of Eastern Europe. This family history was an abiding inspiration for his career. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. Mr. City Attorney, is there a vote required? Yes, there is.
Yes, yes, on the grant, yes.
Do any of the commissioners have a question before we vote?
Just a quick question, still off for the record, and that has to do with the time period 1940 and the photographs. Those are tremendous photographs, and the story is tremendous. 1939 was when the Chamber of Commerce and the city decided that they were going to be the Old West, and that was their marketing. Do you see that reflected at all in any of the images and the photographs?
You know, I'm going to have to go back. He has so many.
Okay, because it was 1939 that the Chamber, the last a frontier town, the surviving, the only frontier town, the Old West, and that's what we marketed so we could sneak in gambling and other things that were allowed in the Old West. But I would look to see if there are any that would reflect that moment, because those are great photographs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Well, wait, Commissioner Mowbray, I've got one
Wait,
question.
there's more questions. Yes, Mr. Mowbray.
Yes, over the years, an old timer up in Lee Canyon told me that.
I'm sorry,
part
Lee
of the
Canyon?
Lee Canyon.
Okay.
Okay, coming down the Tonopah Highway, the Lee Canyon, not the Call Canyon Road, but the Lee Canyon Road was destined to come up over the mountain and down, but it got stopped because of Pearl Harbor. Do you have any documents related to that?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Bob?
Thank you, Mayor. I just hope it doesn't just start at 1940, because I have had copies of that book and sold them and bought another one. It's been reprinted. You know.
Many times, yeah.
Yeah, got to mention the golf course here, the first golf course in southern Nevada.
We have a section, and I believe there is a golf course image in one of the...
1939, the FDR completed the municipal golf course, 9 holes, just along Vegas Drive.
Hollis Gillespie for the record. These were just a sample of some of the images. So
Sure.
there's quite a few more that will be in the exhibit.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's 3,000 square feet.
I started my golfing career in '56 there, and so I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure it's
Just
still
a
there,
concept, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Maybe
Thank
there's
you.
pictures of you golfing, Bob. Who knows?
They're only showed after midnight in certain clubs.
Well, I hope you all come and see it. I just discovered this artist in the last maybe year. I'm very familiar with other artists from that time period, like Dorothea Lange and Walker Lee, you know, some of the big names. And it was a pleasant surprise that his family actually came to us, and we had a lovely discussion, and so I'm very pleased that we're going to be able to feature this exhibit at the museum.
Lovely.
So I better see all of you there.
All right, there is a motion on the floor. Oh, wait, Senator Bryan.
Oh, Senator Bryan, a quick question. The photographs of the gaming brings back memories, because a lot of that still are going on in the late 1940s downtown. But my question is, do we have other pictures in the downtown area reflecting those changes other than gaming?
No. Unfortunately, I have only come across images of the casinos and gaming, but not of any sort of like residential areas or other businesses.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I'm fully supportive, and I move the previous question.
Thank you so much. All those in favor of approving a grant request for $57,431.61 for the Friends of the Nevada State Museum, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Agenda item number 11. 25-0288-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $607,500 for 3 years by the City of Las Vegas, acting by and through its Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs for the production of the 2026-2028 El Dorado Day Parade, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. Marja Bigas with the City of Las Vegas. I'm the parade organizer and senior management analyst for Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilwomen, and board members. Today we are asking for funding for the 2026, 2027, and 2028 Eldorado Days Parade. But before I dive into the details, I do want to share with you a recap of this year's parade. So this year marks our third year bringing back the Eldorado Days Parade, and we ended up with 115 entries, which is our largest parade since 2005. We had 37 school groups, which was an increase of 8 from the previous year. And then looking ahead, we'll continue our outreach efforts to engage more hotel casinos, cultural organizations, in this historical celebration. One of the most rewarding aspects of this event is we were able to provide to our local schools $4,300,000 in support to their school programs and groups. These funds help cover their travel expenses for their competitions, purchase equipment, and sponsor a variety of their club activities. The school participating groups included marching bands, ROTC, cheer teams, choirs, sports teams, and other performing arts programs. The target audience for the Eldorado Days Parade focused on being family-friendly while celebrating our diverse community of Las Vegas, welcoming residents of all backgrounds. Our marketing strategy was designed to reach adults 35 and older with a strong emphasis on Black and Hispanic communities, with a slight focus on women and families. To elevate the experience, we added performers stationed at key points along the parade route to engage with the crowd and bring that signature Vegas flair. One thing that we're really proud of this year is we had participation from 3 of the casinos, which included the Plaza Hotel Casino, Binion's Gambling Hall, and Resorts World. We did enhance the parade experience by adding giveaways like giveaways and shade structures, which led to a significant boost in community participation. This year, attendance increased by 30%. As you could see, we've continued to increase over the last 3 years, and we're hoping to have at least 6,000 for next year's parade. So again, we are asking for the next 3 years, which is a total of $607,500 to fund the next 3 years. That's $202,000 per year. Securing a multi-year funding allows us to plan more effectively and efficiently, giving us stability needed to grow the parade and improve operations year over year. It also gives the schools and community groups ample time to add the event to their calendars, which supports continued growth and participation in the parade. Parade registration will open each September, and here's a breakdown of the types of groups that we have participate and the cost breakdown for each year.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes, why don't we start with Louise?
This is Louise Helton, for the record. I know that in the past that the schools have gotten money for participating. Is that the way the $40,000 is broken down, that they get, it's like $1,500 or per school?
Yeah. So each marching band gets 1,000, and then the school groups that build an intro-float get 1,500.
And the school groups?
The school groups. So each school group that has a marching band gets $1,000, and then each school that enters and builds a float gets $1,500.
Okay, because it seems like that, well, I'm not going to get into the weeds on all that nonsense, but, so that seems to be about what we've paid everybody since the beginning. And then we're paying the artists and the entertainers as well to participate?
So we do hire entertainers to enhance the parade route. We didn't get any artist participation this year, so there wasn't anything that went to them.
Okay, so as we're looking at the cost breakdown and a lot of the entrants, they are getting paid to be in the parade?
The schools, correct. Only the schools.
Okay.
You good? Yes, Senator.
Yeah. Commissioner Bryan, I have a threshold question. What is the rationale for approving a 3-year contract? And I say that with no disrespect to you or anybody else. And what piqued my interest is when Stoldal was pressing what happens to the money if it's not fully utilized, it rolls over. Seems to me if you don't use all the money, maybe next year you don't need the full $202,000. So I guess I'm a little bit uncomfortable with approving a 3-year contract, but I'm open to the rationale for doing it. Thank you.
It really just helps us plan and get things on everyone's calendar. It takes time to plan out the parade, collect the entries, and secure road closures, security, public safety, and it really is a whole citywide effort to put this parade together.
Bob?
Normally, the process that we have at the Centennial Commission is before we go to the next grant request, we get a final report. And that's not what was listed on here. However, you covered most of that area of what according to the contract you're supposed to do is give us a final report. So I don't know if we're going to need a final report, so to speak, officially on the agenda at the September meeting, because you covered a lot of that area. But since we are dealing with this particular one, the city of Las Vegas has a top-notch, very professional, well-rounded on social media, the social network, the internet, YouTube, emails, all kinds of news, great relationships with the city or with the local media, and yet almost 40% of your budget is going for marketing. It seems to me to be, the word that was going to come out was outrageous, but I don't mean to be that strong. But 75,000, almost 40% of your budget is going to marketing when you've got those folks upstairs?
Yeah, so what we're doing this year is we're going to work with finance to find other marketing companies that qualify or meet the standards on promoting an event. We had a lot of trouble over the last few years just trying to get a quote from other marketing companies. Honestly, the Gary Company is the only one that has responded to our request for a quote for marketing the parade, and I know our communications team is really busy. With this, we get probably 40 billboards all over the city of Las Vegas that markets the parade. We have radio, we have TV, social media, it includes a lot, and our communications team does do some marketing for us.
But 70, I mean, 40% of your budget, that seems, well, okay, thank you, answer my question, I appreciate it, thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. What's the route? You didn't put up the route?
Oh, I'm sorry, the route is the normal downtown 4th Street parade route.
Well, that's not normal to me.
So it's from Gass to Stewart Avenue.
Say that again?
It's Gass to Stewart Avenues.
That is all one straight?
One straight
run
shot. Mhm.
Down the Las Vegas Boulevard or 4th?
4th Street.
So you cross through the entertainment area. You know, as I was raised here, as was 2 other members of the commission, at least 2, right? Brian and Mowbray, we are used to the old, well, Berkeley did come along, that's true, man. And I tell you what, we're used to Fremont Street. And I think not having anything going down Fremont Street is aggravating to old timers and doesn't have, you know, this current route doesn't affect, it doesn't show history. It doesn't show anything except steel buildings that are up since the 60s and 70s. And I don't understand why we can't use Fremont down from, say, let's say 8th or 9th, as they used to, come down the street and then go, say, to 4th, because that gets you into the older town, I mean, the real town, and then break off, because I guess we can't really go into the, under the canopy very easily. It wouldn't matter, it wouldn't help. And it's maybe not a very good environment. But why not think about what kind of proposals have you generated? I'm just saying, as an old timer, if you want old time, you got to go old time.
So we do have a couple of parades that happen on Fremont Street. It's just Fremont Street can't support the size of our parade. One parade that we have on there has about 35 entries, and just 4th Street was created for a parade route, and so it has the staging area for the number of entries that we have, and it's about a mile long.
Well, 4th was created for other reasons, and it just happens to be adapted by parade people. And it was just a throw-off for the council to not have to deal with more difficult things. But if you want tradition, and we do want tradition here in this commission, the commissioner's comments are right about marketing, although I can see if you're paying for billboards, things like that, that eats up the money. It isn't so much fees. Nevertheless, you see what I mean? If you want to really bring back old times, at least bring it back down Fremont for a few blocks, and I don't understand why there would be an impediment, physical impediment. And I suspect the businesses along that area would like that. Let's say starting at the El Cortez, which was here at the time, well, almost here in the 30s, but early 40s. So what, why not?
It's something we consider, and I can sit with our traffic team to look at some staging areas.
Excuse me, this is Commissioner Brown, and I agree with the commissioner as another old person that remembers Fremont Street. And when you think of parades, you do think of Fremont Street.
If you want atmosphere, thank you, Hannah. If you want atmosphere, use Fremont. You get more people.
Oh, yes, Senator.
Your Honor?
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you very much. Before we take a final vote, I may be a voice in the wilderness on a 3-year contract, and I respect that. I don't want to take a long time, but if nobody else shares that view, I intend to vote no, but only on that basis. But please, if there's any discussion, not fine. If there's not, move on.
All right, I'd like to ask a couple of questions. I did a lot of promotion for the El Dorado Parade, and I did videos and Instagrams and all of that. And I have to say, the entries were great, and it was fun to be in the parade. But I was a little disappointed, and I noticed how few people came out for us for the parade. I think there were, I'm sure this isn't quite accurate, but it seemed when I was going down 4th Street, that there were more entries in the parade than there were actually people watching the parade. Do we have any plans for promoting this so that we can bring people downtown, which is the purpose of the El Dorado Parade?
Yeah, we did have less spectators this year, although we had more attendees because the number of entries that we had less spectators. And I think it had a lot to do with the heat.
It was unusually warm for that time of year.
And so I think just adding more shade structures and promoting the fact that we have that has helped us with attendance. We have increased by probably 60% since 2023.
Wow. Okay, yes, let's work together on that. The mayor's office will do anything to help promote this, as long as we're doing it and as long as we're expending dollars. Let's try to make it as robust as possible. And you have my full support on that.
Quick question for the attorney. The proposal is for 3 years. If I made a motion to make the grant for a 2-year period, would that be appropriate or legal?
Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney. Commissioner Stoll asked if he made a motion to reduce the period from 3 to a lower number. Would that be all right? It wouldn't be all right. We'd have to re-agendize it and place a new agreement as the backup. As Dr. Seabrandt described, the way we've done these new multi-year, we've done a couple of them, of the multi-year deals, is the total sum is essentially what is agreed to in both the agreement and listed as the agenda item. So that's what they're agreeing to today, and not to get into the weeds of the policy, which was essentially established by the commission when they approved a couple of these multi-year deals already. But like Marja explained, I think the concept is you're giving some assurance, you're giving them some ability to plan a few years out. That's why they're bringing multi-year grant requests to you.
That's exactly why the commission did it, but we started with a 2-year period, now we're going to 3, and the next thing we're going to hear is 4 with the same argument. And my question is, legally, can I make a motion for just a 2-year period?
No.
No, not today. If you want to deny it and give us some direction to come back with a smaller number of years, we can do that, but what they have in front of you is 3 years, $607,500.
And in addition to that, I have to take the $75,000 marketing, take it or leave it.
This is what's,
Okay.
this is what was agenda.
All right.
So the public is watching us vote on this, so it can't be altered. In that case, does anybody have a motion for, yes, oh, I'm so sorry, Ryan.
It's okay. Member Arnold, for the record, given the discussion up here, Marja, what's your timeline? Do you have, can we hold this until our next meeting without impacting you terribly?
Well, typically, we actually open up registration in September and get it out to the schools at that time so that they can start planning.
I think the only thing that seems to be in question is the length, amount of years. I mean, we've supported this thing from day one, so I don't see that support going away. But
Let me help you
maybe
with an answer as well, though, still on the record. This is the earliest we've received the request as at our July meeting. Normally, we don't get it at the July meeting. Normally, at July, we get a final report, which you gave in great detail, but we usually don't get this.
Fair enough. I think this is a good thing that we're seeing it early.
Me too.
Back to the point here, though, there's maybe a time for a bit more conversation, talk about the marketing budget, and I think for my purposes with staff, now that this has become somewhat of a theme, is maybe a bit more clarity on if that amount for what we intend per year is not used for that year, what happens? Because that was a bit of a revelation for me, and I'm not looking at this proposal per se, but having a bit more clarity there, I think would be very helpful, because if we're going to, especially with some of the others, I'm getting off track here, Jeff, so stop me if you need to. If we're going to put in a de-escalating or a, reduction in amount for some of these other contracts, and they're not using that amount and pushing it forward to the next year, it kind of defeats what we're attempting to do. So I think there's some room for some clarity, and I don't know if moving into our next meeting, if we can have some conversation, or a few board members like we've done in the past, we have a conversation about a few of the elements that are of concern. Maybe we can get to a spot that makes a few folks more comfortable, and then we can come together on the next meeting. I don't see this being in jeopardy, at least from my perspective, and I don't want to speak for the board, but again, we've supported this so many years. I think it's very important to this community. Yes, we need more people to show up, but Marja, you and Jasmine do a wonderful job in that department, and I want to see it continue if we can.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion then to, taking that in consideration, to obey this until our September.
Statement for the record, you can't obey it, because if you obey it, the same exact grant request will come before you. So if you don't like
Here's my
this,
understanding, having done this now for the last 20 years, we can obey this till the next meeting, and then at that meeting, we can strike it, and they can also present a new proposal, which we have done many times before.
that's correct, you can do that, or you can deny this one, and they will submit a new one for the next meeting.
No.
We don't need a denial.
We don't need it. I'd rather obey it with we can deny it with no prejudice, but I would prefer that we delay it.
Absolutely. I'd second that motion.
Okay, now what exactly is your motion, Mr.
The motion
Stoddard?
is to,
Wait for Jeff.
what, I'm sorry.
If I might, Mayor and Commissioner Stoddard, the only thing I would request with what I expect to be the motion is we are going to need, especially Marja and company, they are going to need some direction about what type of agreement you want then. Are you talking, do you want a 2-year, do you want a 1-year? What are we bringing back as the alternative agreement to the abeyance item?
So first, we can make a motion to obey to the next meeting, September let's make sure we have the date. The 29th.
September 29th.
Okay. Then, so we can have a vote on that. If that approves, then we can go back to Mr. Arnold and talk about what are the parameters of the 2 years of the things that we would want or we would look for. Not to say, what I'm not taking off the table is the 3-year deal. I think that there could be some energy on this commission once we have all the discussion of maybe a 2-year deal and cutting down the 40,000 or 75,000 down to 50,000. The group may come together and say, no, let's stick with the 3-year. That makes sense. So I don't want to take that off the table. I'd like to get a vote on that before we go ahead.
Yes, Olivia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Don't disagree if people need more time to think about this. I just want to make some key points. The Mayor articulated she felt the attendance wasn't as strong as it could be. I think the marketing dollars could really go a long way if we intentionally use those marketing dollars to make sure we're driving people to our El Dorado parade. I don't see it as a disinvestment. I actually see it in trying to get more people to attend and enjoy something that is a labor of love and a lot of work. 2, I know that our LVMPD costs continually are on the rise and on the increase. We're flatlining it here at 30,000, but I'm sure that moves as every year the salaries of officers increase, so does that. So that's a moving target that I wanted to point out. And lastly, Marcia, for the next meeting, if you could also bring all of the in-kind hours that our city staff are putting towards this, because we're not even requesting we pay our staff and all of those that are involved in this entire time-intensive process, we're not even charging a payback for Marcia's time, for our special events team's time, for all the people, all the hands on deck the day of the parade. So I would like to see, kind of from a city perspective, all of the in-kinds that we are offering and facilitating, because we are curating this with city staff. So I think that could help shine the light of how invested the city is and how much staff time is put into this, and then how much we really are asking for. And then we can make better sense, I think, of everything that is entailed to make this wonderful parade a staple in our community.
I think you make, Council, I think you make an excellent point to make this a two-year deal, since we don't know what some of these cost, like you point out, the police department, that cost could go up dramatically in the third year, the second year. So maybe you're right, maybe we make this just a two-year deal. But I'd like to call for the question.
Well, if I may. Please. Our meeting isn't until September 29th. I know that is going to tighten your schedule. Are you okay with September 29th? If we vote yes, and I would vote yes now, and I'm going to vote yes in September, no matter what form it comes back in, back to us. Are you okay with that? Does that put you in a terrible disadvantage?
My only concern is the schools. They want to get it on their calendar. They want to schedule buses. They schedule things so far in advance. They typically schedule things like 2 years in advance when they're scheduling their events.
Madam Mayor, I think there's no doubt that this commission will bless the continuity of the parade, so I would highly advise that they continue with the timelines that they have and sending the information out to the schools. And then we have to make a determination in the September meeting to continue to fund it, whether that's for the 2-year or the 3-year option. I'm hearing we're going to have 2 competing maybe measures on the agenda, and then we have to decide between the 2. So I say they move forward, because it doesn't sound like we're lacking an appetite to support it. Right now it's the time frame, like, is it for 2 years or versus a 3? So I think we should advise staff to continue on the timeline that they need to operate to ensure that we pull it off seamlessly for the next year.
And I would suggest that you come back with a 2-year proposal as opposed to a 3-year proposal, and I suspect that we will be supporting this unanimously at that time.
Okay.
And I'll call for the question has been called for, I believe. All those in favor of postponing this agenda item until the September meeting, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you very much. Agenda item 12. 25-0312-CLC1, final report by the Executive Director of the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial regarding the completion of the documentary film premiere, The City of Las Vegas, 1970s, funded by the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial.
Thank you, Seabrant, for the record. And this is just to brief everybody that we did have the premiere at the plaza. I know there was a sound issue, so you don't need, if you want to tell me about that, that's fine, but I'm aware there was a sound issue. It was out of our hands. We obviously won't use a venue like that again that doesn't have better sound. We did check it out prior, and it worked fine. So apologies for any of anybody that was unable to hear it. It did get a little better as we went forward, but we did have about, I didn't get an exact count, 60 to 70 people that were attending this event. It is, of course, the movie is on our YouTube page, and I did check it this morning, and it's up to 61,000 views for that's the 1970s. Obviously, we have thousands up to millions of views on our other movies. And this is just to let everybody know that premiere was completed, and the movie is completed for the 1970s.
Does anybody on the commission wish to make a comment? Yes.
Member Senek, for the record. I watched it on YouTube this weekend. It's excellent. I love the graphics, the music, really well done. The interviews, Bob was a star. I like the 60s a lot too, but the 70s was really a great addition. So it was money well spent to do this.
Yeah, I have to say, I also watched it this weekend, and, you know, at first I was somewhat nonchalant about 1970s, I was a college student at the time. I loved it. I thought it was just a wonderful documentary, brought back so many memories, and I thought it was wonderful, too. So congratulations, it was great. Also, I do like the idea, for some reason, and I keep forgetting why I wasn't able to be there, but I want to fully participate next time we do this, and I do like the idea of a reception and a showing. Let's really try to build this up and make the next one that we do really special.
Just a tangent, Dr. Seabrandt, the script for the 80s, the first final draft was approved.
Cool.
At noon.
Oh, my heavens,
Today.
okay.
And Madam Mayor, just if I could just say that for a future screening, I know that what conflicted for me to make it is it was like still graduation season, and so there were a lot of asks to attend different things. If we could be polled as commission members about availability, I'm not sure, maybe we are, and then I haven't really remembered when you guys poll us. But it would just be nice to kind of get a sense of who can make certain days work for their schedules ahead of time.
Seaburn for the record, so it always has been that we hold it on whatever Saturday is closest to May 15th to celebrate the city's birthday. So Teresa can certainly send out a poll to find out when everybody's available, but we have to have it in May.
Okay.
And right now, we do have a schedule that releases the movie on those closest May 15th dates that we can find. But that's the reason that we have it at that time, unless the commission wants to change that. But I think we want to keep it in May.
No, it sounds like it's a very important date for us as a city. But that way, if it's flagged way in advance for us, we could be making sound decisions as to what we're going to attend and what we're not, and what we make a priority ahead of time. So just if you can send it, flag it for us early enough for us to put it in our agendas.
So noted, so noted. Any other comments? In that case, we'll move to item 13, report by the Executive Director of the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial regarding completed projects and announcements relative to the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial.
Well, I usually don't stand up here, but this is where the clicker is. Seabrant for the record. So for our Centennial projects, oops, I didn't mean to go there. Just everything that's in progress right now. The next rodeo event is on November 7th and 8th. The Paul R. Williams documentary should be wrapped up next month. Mott Museum Archives is also in progress, and they're not required to be completed until the end of December. The movies, as we spoke about, were being completed, and, oh, here, Councilwoman Diaz, May 16th, 2026 is our next
Okay, I'm going to send it to my calendar keepers right now.
Okay, fantastic. So hopefully everybody can put that on their calendar and everybody can make that one. And just to let you know, it always starts at 6 p.m. with the reception, and the movie starts about 7. And so that again is May 16th, 2026, and we can certainly look at the next couple years and get everybody dates for those as well. The next Home in History is April 16th through 19th of next year, and of course you did hear their presentation earlier. And then 2027 is the 15th through the 18th. And again, this was a 3-year grant. The rodeo was a 3-year grant, which I think is why there's several other people that are submitting 3-year grants, because this was, I don't remember exactly the date, but this commission did have a long discussion about multi-year funding, and so that's why people are putting in for these. But if you want to scale back on that, want to cap it at 2 years, we can do that as well. The UNLV Sports Oral History Project, again, that is going to be completed at the end of December. I did get word that, unfortunately, Clay T. White is going to be retiring in December, so hopefully she can at least be here to give this presentation. And then we have the 2 new documentary films, also by Boyd, 1911 and the Fremont documentaries. Right now, we are going over everything for the Fremont Street documentaries, of course, with Commissioner Stoddall. And the one thing to also make everybody aware of, Teresa sent you an email, the clerk sent an email, that we'll be moving over to the new Civic Center. There's going to be some construction going on in here. So the next meeting, September 29th, what you'll need to do is when you cross the street from the parking garage, just make an immediate right on Main Street, walk I don't know, 100 feet or so, and then the entrance is on your left. You'll go into the left, you'll still go through the security. Then we have also this parking information as well as how to get to our meeting space. The stairs or elevator, and then you'll pop up right in front of our meeting room. I think everybody's gonna be much happier with it. It's much smaller, we'll be able to see each other, and it's more intimate for our conversations. And that's all I have, unless anybody has questions.
What was that date again, Mayor?
Well, September 29th is when our next meeting is. So, but
Usual time, 2 o'clock?
yes, it'll still be at 2 o'clock. We haven't changed the time, just the location.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Item number 14, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual members shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items, and any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed items are within the purview of the commission and/or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur, and no action shall be taken. Does anybody have any discussion? Yes, Louise.
This is Louise Helton for the record, and I would like to make another request for us to please do something about the strategic plan. We were supposed to have that on this month's agenda. We really need to get that scheduled and done.
Still though, for the record, 2 items. One is I'd like to have an election of officers at the next available, at the September meeting. Right now, we have only elected the president or chair. We have open positions on the commission for vice chair. We can have up to 2 vice chair, including 1 member of the staff could be a vice chair. And we also need an election for a secretary as well as a treasurer. Most of those duties of the secretary and the treasurer, quite frankly, are handled through an operating agreement that we currently have with the city. However, those positions do need to be filled. So the second thing is several of us have received telephone calls following a member of the staff calling and saying that the Old Timers Dinner is not eligible at this juncture for a grant as the way it stands. Several members of us, I believe, and we're hearing the conversation, have been contacted directly saying, what did we do wrong or whatever? And I'm wondering if there's a way that we could move this forward to hear what they have to say, or to hear what challenges they have. I know one of the challenges is when I look at their website, they'd indicated they were going to have a wide display of historic images and videos and so forth, and that's not there. I don't know if that's one of the reasons, but the question is, how do we move this forward, even if it's just an explainer item on the agenda?
Well, Sebring, for the record, I'm happy to answer all those. And just to clarify, I know you like to nitpick, so I'm going to nitpick here back at you. Those positions, officers' positions, are not open. Seth is the vice chair.
I'm sorry. Sorry. We are required to have elections every year.
Right. No,
he was not elected last year, the year before,
right. And
years ago.
Yes, Commissioner Stoddard, I understand that, and we will do that. And I meant to have it on this one, but Seth unfortunately was not able to be here. I was out with surgery at our last meeting, so I wasn't able to do it then.
It'll be on the
So
next agenda.
It will be on the next agenda, but I just wanted to clarify that they're not open. Yes, we need to do the elections, but I am the secretary. Mike is the secretary. I'm the treasurer.
When were you elected?
When I first started here, by this commission. By
You have
this
to be elected
commission.
every year.
You know what? I don't think we need to have this discussion. It'll be on, we will have an election in next meeting, and however the process works, and that's the end of this discussion. Okay.
If I can, Mayor, address Commissioner Stoddard's question about the Old Time Reunion?
Yes, that would be good.
So for the Old Time Reunion, their application did not meet the eligibility requirements. They have been asked repeatedly for years by myself and this commission to do what they promised to do, and that was to put the photos and the videos on their website. And it would be absolutely wonderful if they did that, because there are people, this commission has been funding that since 2005. And to have somebody to sit down and get the stories from these people is so important, but that is not what is being done. If you go to their website, there are 3 videos, one from 2018, that is just an overview of the party. There is one from 2023 of just an overview of the party, with a few people giving a talk of saying, hey, it's great to be here, with the music and the dishes clanking in the background. And then the same for 2024. Each of these are about 3 minutes long. So in order to make this a valuable and very important part of the historic record, what they need to do, again, they have been asked for the last 3 years to do this, is to have somebody sit down and do proper interviews. Sit down and have a question, have a quiet room where you don't have the background. We funded $50,000 for UNLV to do the last Asian American Pacific Islander Oral History Project. It's fantastic. It's on their website. Everybody can access it. You can look at the videos. You can read the transcript. You can hear the transcript. Old Time Reunion was asking for $40,000 to have a party, and none of that was included in order to preserve those histories. If Old Time Reunion would like to rewrite their application and ask for what this commission funds to preserve history, show that they are renting a room, show that they do have interviewers and have the audio tech people there, and actually put these on their websites, do a transcription and name the people. There's also photos on the website. Nobody is identified. And we need to know who those people are. And this is what would make it a very important piece of historic history that people can go back and look at. So anybody is welcome to redo the application so that it meets those requirements, but the way in which it was written, it did not meet the requirements.
And may I enhance what you said? I go to the Old Timers dinner religiously every year. I love it. I love it. I started going when Failure was chair with Herb Kaufman and Ken Johan. And unfortunately, and we were talking about this, we didn't preserve their histories. So again, we're spending $40,000. And this came to my attention, and then I mentioned it to the senator recently, and we're all in favor of this Old Timers reunion. It's so important, and people look forward to going, but we can't spend $40,000 for a party. What we can do, and I was talking to Diane earlier, the city can help. We'll, if we can get a little side room, and we can have a videographer and work, the city can work with the Old Timers Reunion Committee, and especially, there are people out there that I've been seeing going. Cindy Domaney is the perfect example. Woman is in her 90s. I want to preserve her history before we're not able to. And for that matter, in 20 years, I'd like my history preserved as well. But I think if we can ask Kevin to read, and I don't know who would be responsible for contacting him, but if we can explain to him, and I know you have spoken to them a number of times about what their duties were and responsibilities to continue to get these grants, and they have not listened. But if we can do this, we could make this old timers event truly special and important for all of us, and preserve this history before we can't do it anymore. And I was telling, we had a pre-meeting before this, and I was telling them about my remembrances of Ken Johan and of course Herb Kaufman. Gee, I wish that we had done this back then, and I think we can still do this. And I'd like to ask a procedural question. Our next meeting is September 29th. That's pretty late because I think the old timers reunion is in October. Can we have like an emergency a phone meeting or something like that where we can approve this, if in fact they submit this in a timely manner, and I hope that they do, and work with the city so we can do this with them? Can we in fact have a meeting in August where we can get approval for them to give them some lead time so that they can get this approved?
Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. Yes, I'm sure the bylaws contemplate special meetings, so it would just be a matter of a timeline for the item, and then also making sure our clerk's office is available, but we can make that happen.
I've got a question. Council, can we do a meeting by video?
Sure.
With all the proper noticing and everything, or is that, I'm on several commissions that do that sort of thing. I don't know if there's something about the way we're constituted. I'm not recommending it at this point, but for something that may not be controversial that we need because of the timeline. Yeah.
Short answer is yes, we can. The way we like to do it, though, this is Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. The way we like to do it at the city is we would like to have a physical location. So the mayor is always here. She works 15-hour days. So if she alone could come down to the location, we could get everyone else on the phone, and that would work. And that's how we would do it. But to your overall question, can it be completely electronic? Yes, but we don't like to do that.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
He's talking to.
The video, we're not up to par yet. We can do telephonic. We don't have our video all set up. We're working on that with another room. We got a whole, that's a whole other thing, yeah.
We're a low-tech city, right? What can I say? All right, but we are in the process of remedying that situation, are we not? Correct. Very good. All right, does anyone have any other comments? Okay, hopefully, and before we go to the next agenda item, who's contacting Kevin?
Sebring, for the record, I will contact them again. I did, of course, put all of this in an email. I'm assuming most of you were forwarded that. But I'm happy to reach out to them again, but they have to understand that they have to do the interviews.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yes, Ryan, yes.
Member Arnold, I wasn't going to say anything on this, but, and maybe I wasn't here, maybe I didn't hear it. When we have problems with ongoing applications, I would love to know. And again, forgive me if this has come up in years past and maybe I just missed it, but to find out in this form, it's a little frustrating, and we all support that, but if they're not following the obligations of the agreement, that's an issue, and we should be pushing back on them to make sure everyone's in line.
Oh,
not
Sebring,
just
for the
hearing it
record,
from you.
we have, Commissioner Arnold, we have pushed back
You
on
shared that
them.
with us?
Yes, Commissioner Stoddall has asked them to put the information on their website. And in this meeting, I'd have to go back and look to see.
Okay,
which
yeah,
one it
again,
is.
forgive me, I don't recall that, but
In this particular...
there should be some review that I would recall.
I was floored when I heard that it was denied, and I said, why would it be denied? And when it was explained to me, it made a lot of sense. Absolutely. But then I did inquire further, and apparently the city has been in communication with the old timers committee explaining exactly what they needed to do, and this is not the first year that they didn't do it. So it was denied, and maybe this would be something that would prompt them to actually do what they need to do to get the money funded.
Mayor,
to
I
get
think there were two quick points. One, yes, Dr. Seabrand said that we did discuss this at open meetings, that you're not doing what you're doing. But to your point, though, we were not informed formally, I don't know if we ever have been, that somebody has been denied in advance, so I think.
Well, Seaburn, for the record, it wasn't denied, it was their application did not meet the requirements. I have to send back many, many applications because there's freezes on so many federal funds. A lot of people are coming to us for money. But people are submitting applications that are not what this commission does.
Right.
And my job is to root through those to make sure, are they, through what we have of our eligibility list, are they meeting 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, whatever it is? If they do not, I work with every applicant and say, you need to do this, you need to do that, because it's, this is what the commission funds. They usually go back, make their drafts, update their drafts. But sometimes I think that many people believe that this commission has funded them and they will always fund them. And so they are required to complete an application that is meeting the eligibility requirements. And those should not come to this commission because you're going to be reading, for instance, I got one, the person put the same paragraph in every single answer. That's not something that you should waste your time with. That's my job, is to make sure what comes in front of you is a viable project. That
We
meets the
appreciate
guidelines.
this. And I'm particularly excited about the possibility of what this can become, and it'll make the Old Timers Reunion even more significant and even more fun. So thank you. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I appreciate it. Okay, item 15, citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come forward, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion will be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anybody here that wishes to address the commission? Seeing no one.
Somebody's walking.
Oh, well, hello.
Hello. He's a patient man.
Oi, all right.
I just want to introduce myself, that's all. My name is Ted Fay, and I am a documentary filmmaker. I came to the history of Nevada through Death Valley. I lived in Los Angeles a long time, and moved to Las Vegas here on Nevada Day, actually, on October 31st of 24. But my work has been primarily in Nevada. I have worked extensively with the Nevada Commission on Tourism. I am currently doing a little travel history video on YouTube, a series with Mark Hall Patton called Mark and Ted's History Adventures. I have gotten to know Clay T. White and Michael Green and have immersed myself in Nevada history, which I love, and worked for a long time, as I said, with the Nevada Commission on Tourism in the rurals and Goldfield and Tonopah and all of those wonderful places in the state. And now I've turned my attention here to Las Vegas, and really just wanted to introduce myself and say hello and know that I appreciate this commission and its commitment to history. There's no other city that I know of that really does this kind of thing, and I just wanted to say hi.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming forward.
Thank you, Mayor.
And with that, this meeting of the Centennial Commission is adjourned.